Is talking about obscenity the same as glorifying it? Will Imtiaz Ali finally get out of his dry spell after Harry Met Sejal and Love Aajkal? Is Amar Singh Chamkila secretly a film about Sidhu Moose Wala? Hello and welcome to Do I Like It, a show जहां हम हर बात पे बात करते हैं. And in this episode, let's talk about Imtiaz Ali's new film Amar Singh Chamkila, releasing on the 12th of April. The film, as the name suggests, is based on the life of the Punjabi singer Amar Singh Chamkila, his wife and collaborator Amarjot, and how they were mysteriously assassinated on the 8th of March 1988. In this episode, I want to talk about the life and music of Chamkila and some themes the film might touch upon. If you've never heard of Chamkila's songs, this video is for you. If I have to give you a contemporary parallel to Chamkila's life, I think it is Sidhu Moose Wala. Two insanely talented voices talking about the life they saw around them who were taken away by a bullet. Chamkila was a true underground superstar. He is said to be the highest selling Punjabi artist of all time. And if you've seen his on-stage performance videos, you would know why. He absolutely owned the stage. But while he enjoyed a crowd of hundreds every time he went on the mic, he was also labelled as an obscene, a ganda singer by the conservatives of the time. And for good reason. His songs were raunchy, suggestive, and often talked about human urges that society deems perverse. Take for instance his song Chaska Pai Gaya. It talks about a flirtatious relationship between a Jija and Sali. The hook of the song says, Jija ve tennu chaska pai gaya Sali da. We've seen similar motifs in local village songs from UP, Bihar and Haryana, right? A lot of Bhabhi Devar jokes, Sali to aadhi garwali hoti hai type rhetoric. And it's not even a rural or an India thing even. Some of the most popular porn categories are MILF and stepsister and whatnot, right? It's almost like men throughout the ages have wanted to sexualize every relationship that is considered sacred. Now yes, Chamkila's music is very male-centric, misogynistic and comes from a fantastical gaze. But it does tell us some things about the imagination of the men at the time. Just like porn, it's not real and people shouldn't get their lessons on real Jija-Sali relationships from Chamkila's songs. But if we study the trends people look out for, we can gauge कि उस time के मर्दों की सबसे बड़ी fantasy क्या थी. And only then can we have any corrective measure to give young boys an idea of how interpersonal relationships actually work. Which is why I said in my 2024 Unpopular Opinions episode that Animal is one of the most important movies and we should all watch it and have a conversation about it with the boys and men around us. Not about whether the film is good or bad, that's immaterial. But about how they perceived it. If they liked it, why did they like it? Was it because they saw themselves in Ranveer's character beating people up as Arjun Valley plays in the background? If yes, then where is this fantasy coming from? And this is where I find Chamkila's music to be most useful. It is a great litmus test of the people of the 80s. मान लो अगर आज कोई 50-60 साल का आदमी मुझे पॉर्न देखने से मना करे, तो मैं मुड़ के उनको ये बोल सकता हूँ कि भाई आप तो चुप ही रहो, आपके टाइम का सबसे फेमस सिंगर चमकीला था और आप लोग राम तेरी गंगा मैली की मंदाकिनी को देखने के लिए लाइनें लगाते थे, ठीक है, तो हमें मत बताओ. Mass perversions have this normalizing effect on generation. They bridge this generational gap और हमको अपने अपने silos से बाहर देखने में मजबूर करते हैं. You can almost psychoanalyze an entire generation from the things they deemed perverse and obscene. You just need to have an open mind and not judge people for their kinks and fantasies. The protagonist of Chamkila's songs was the Pattu, the Shauqeen, the Thug, the Womanizer. His lyrics were written from that point of view, a POV that a lot of men related with at the time. अपने गानों में चमकीला हमेशा हीरो होता था, the cool, spectacular vagabond जो उस लड़की को देखते ही impress कर देता था. And with him was Amarjot, an equally cool, equally sassy woman who was playing hard to get. But at the end, she was always in love with this thug. तो तुम देख रहे हो कि इन दोनों ने किस तरह से उस समय की मेल और फीमेल फैंटेसीज को cater किया. And that probably was the biggest reason for their success. In some ways, Chamkila was very hip-hop, like NWA and Ice-T. He was the hood reporter who told us the truth as it was happening in the streets, however obscene or uncomfortable it may be. He probably didn't even know it, but he was showing us what went inside the minds of people of his time. And he did all of this before gangster rap made it cool. And talking about gangster rap, another aspect of his music was the whole hyper-masculine, violent, macho themes that he talked about. If you listen to his song Pehle Lalkare Naal Main Dar Gayi, he says, Pehla kam veliyan de vel khatne, दूजा कम बोतला दे डट पटने, तीजा कम लेना आपका मुल्ल दी लड़ाई, which basically means that all a thug does all day is drink and pick fights with his enemies and whatnot. And this is his most famous song. It is in this aspect that the parallels between him and Sidhu Moose Wala are the strongest. When he was alive, Sidhu too was accused of promoting violence and gun culture. And just like in Chamkila's case, his response was, भाई मैं तो बस वही लिखता हूँ जो मैं अपने अराउंड देखता हूँ और यही गाने सबसे ज़्यादा चलते हैं, तो प्रॉब्लम मुझ में है या आप सब में? अगर लोगों को चमकीला और सिद्धू मूसेवाला से इतनी दिक्कत होती तो क्या वो इतने बड़े स्टार्स होते? People quote his lyrics like जट दा मुकाबला 10 मैनू कित्थे है और दुग्गी तिग्गी पूरी ठोक ठोक रखदा डब विच भर के गलोक रखदा. And there are numerous such examples of Sidhu's lyrics that are violent as hell. But they too have a place and time in people's playlist. And it's not like Sidhu Moosewala only talked about guns. His most popular song, 295, is a contemplative song about a person who's on top of the world, but he kind of realizes that it's not worth it maybe. Art is subjective and artists are diverse. So we should let them be. The same Tupac Shakur wrote political songs like Brenda Had a Baby and Changes. But he also wrote stuff like I Get Around and violent diss tracks like Hit 'em Up. My 4-4 Make Sure All Your Kids Don't Grow याद है? वो भी टूपाक नहीं लिखा था. चमकीला को भी अपने टाइम पे बोला जाता था कि तुम वायलेंस और ड्रग्स प्रमोट करते हो. But knowingly or unknowingly, people like Chamkila, Tupac and Sidhu Moosewala rebelled against this conservative, puritanical and बच्चों पे बुरा असर पड़ेगा वाला culture. And just like the others, Chamkila wasn't a one-trick pony. He too had some breathtaking ballads like Ki Jor Garib Da. The song uses metaphors of a stereotypical heartbreak lament and flips it to talk about the class divide between the rich and poor. How poverty and exploitation has made sure that two lovers don't unite. How lakhs of heers and ranjas are still struggling even after they've gotten married. But popular culture में जब भी चमकीला की बात होती है तो वही जीजा साली और गुंडागर्दी वाले गाने ही याद आते हैं सबको. और उसके दो रीजंस हैं. एक तो ऑफ कोर्स वही गाने सबसे ज़्यादा चलते हैं तो आर्टिस्ट भी वैसे ही गाने बनाएंगे. आफ्टर ऑल द मार्केट डिक्टेट्स व्हाट इट वांट्स. एंड द सेकंड रीजन इज कि अगर चमकीला के दूसरे हार्ड हिटिंग एंटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट सॉन्ग्स के बारे में बात करोगे तो भाई तुम्हें कास्ट के बारे में भी बात करनी पड़ेगी, फार्मर्स के बारे में भी बात करनी पड़ेगी. अगर टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी की बात को दबाना है तो उसका सबसे अच्छा तरीका है कि लड़कों की हर एक परवर्जन से ओपनली एंगेज करने के बजाय उसको बस ऑब्सीन और गंदा बता के शन कर दो. अगर पुलिस ब्रुटैलिटी की बात नहीं करनी तो बस NWA और टूपाक को वायलेंट और ऑब्सीन बता के बैन कर दो. It's a clear playbook. This is why AIB was called vulgar as they talked about Rahul Gandhi versus Modi or honest weddings. प्रॉब्लम गालियों से नहीं थी इतनी, प्रॉब्लम थी कि भाई गाली देते देते तुम वो बात क्यों कर रहे हो जो करनी नहीं चाहिए, जो हम बोल रहे हैं कि करनी नहीं चाहिए. लाइन में रहो ना अपनी. And the fact that I can't even say the full name of the group tells you something about obscenity and purity culture. By the way, I was just watching the Rahul Gandhi versus Modi video the other day and dude, I can't imagine someone even writing that script on a piece of paper. It's so scandalous. What are the times that we are living in? So I think Chamkila's story would be even more relevant in these polarized and extreme times. As Kumud Mishra's character says in the trailer, जब दुनिया में तनाव बढ़ता है तब जनता के अंदर entertainment की भूख और भी बढ़ जाती है. I think it would start these conversations about obscenity and puritanicalism looking at an artist जो इतने volatile times में भी अपना art create कर रहा था. Also from whatever I have heard, I think the album by A.R. Rahman would be an undeniable banger. So if nothing, I'm excited for that. While I'm sure the film will have some tropes of a generic music biopic, you know, the rags to riches wali story, one song that will suddenly be a smash hit, the successes के सर पे चढ़ गई ये moment, all of that would be there, but I hope Imtiaz Ali also dives into these deeper ideas of obscenity, purity culture, and what made people's fantasies. What made all the women fans of Chamkila? उनको क्या पसंद आता था इस पट्टू में? You know, stuff like that, I really wish he talks about them. But if it's gonna be just another bubbly romantic film about a singing couple's assassination, I'd be disappointed. Especially because I've already seen Diljit do it once in the film Jodi, which too was based on Chamkila's life. Diljit played the singer Amar Singh Sitara and Nimrat Khera played Amarjot, here called Kamaljot. So I hope that it's not just a remake of that film in Hindi. I hope it tries to explore the fandom behind an artist who still gets over 4 lakh monthly listeners more than 30 years after he died. And yes, this was another episode of Do I Like It, about the film Amar Singh Chamkila and some themes about his life and career. Tell me in the comments below if you are as excited about the film as I am. I think Imtiaz Ali desperately needs a sixer after Harry Met Sejal and Love Aajkal. Also, bhai, while researching for this video, I realized that Chamkila too was a member of the 27 Club. How creepy is that? And by the way, kuch din pehle I also turned 27. So this was Prateek, and I hope I see you in the next one.